You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next, the April 6, 2022 meeting of the Michigan City Parks and Recreation Board. You can find information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Michigan City Park Board meeting for Wednesday, April 6, 2022. If you can please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And I will take the roll call. Mr. Lang? Here. Mr. Freeze?
Here.
Mrs. Sperling?
Here.
All right, everyone's here. We have the minutes from our previous meeting of March 16th. They were prepared and sent to us in advance, so unless there are any questions or additions, do we have a motion to approve?
I would move we accept the minutes as printed.
I second it.
We can do
Yes.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, next up is project updates. The Indiana DNR approval for the Park Department's 5-year master plan. We had a letter in our packet which stated that the plan meets the Department of Natural Resources minimum requirements for local parks and recreation master plans, which is good news because that allows us to be eligible to apply for land and water grant fund grants through the Office of the Water Conservation Fund in 2022. So we had talked about this previously and we had approved it as a board. And now this is notification that the plan that we had submitted was approved. So it's all good news. I don't know what action the board would need to take tonight other than accepting the acceptance letter, which, yeah. All right, thank you.
There's nothing to vote on.
Nothing to vote on? Okay,
Just
just,
imagine what it would be.
all right. Thank you.
All righty.
That's good news.
If I could, Phil, I'd just like to thank Shannon and Ed for all the department heads for all the hard work they put into just made the effort to send in this plan and have it in condition that was passed without too many questions. So hats off to them.
Monumental amount of work.
Absolutely agree.
Well done.
All right, is there any other old business we have to attend to? All right, any tabled business? Thank you. Right on to new business then, we have approval of the preliminary assessment of the old bandstand. All right, in our packet, we were given the report from Gill Architects. They went through and did a thorough assessment of the bandstand and came up with a cost estimate, and that's presented to us tonight. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, I have one on page 10. At the bottom. Sorry. On page 10, at the bottom two photos, the left photo, it looks like there is a ray of light that is coming through and shining. And when I look at that, I'm thinking, is there a hole in the roof somewhere to allow that through? And again, maybe that's getting a little technical, but I looked at that and I was just wondering if anyone has an idea.
When I read the report, they talked about having two accesses to the roof, and they thought it was for ventilation.
Yes, yeah.
But further on in the report, they mentioned the roof was rock solid.
Yeah,
So
that's why I was asking.
I would think that light might just be to illuminate the interior, but I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
guessing.
Right. I was just
I
curious.
thought the report might mention it had there been a problem.
Yeah.
It was very thorough, so
Oh, thorough
I
is,
don't know if they missed.
thorough is an understatement.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thought the photos were interesting. It's
Yeah.
nice to see a lot
Yeah.
of them. The summary and recommendations, it's that, I'm just reading right off page 15 here. It's our position that the building is stable and largely in good condition, which which is good to know that the previous efforts to help maintain and restore that building were solid and done well. But with that said, there's a lot of work to be done, and they've detailed all that work and gave a cost estimate. So the next steps would be for them to write specs, and then for, assuming we approve this tonight, the next steps would be to allow them to write the specifications that we would send out to prospective bidders. And that would go in the paper, press for proposals, bring them back, evaluate them, and award the construction contract.
I have a question.
So
These the estimated costs, that will not be publicized or shown to the bidders, right?
well, I believe all this is public information.
Okay,
That's part of the process,
okay.
unless,
I just, as mentioned, I just think that some of these costs are really a lot and that people might go with that
right,
as opposed to, trying to be really competitive.
sure.
I don't know, if
Because
there's a way
our-
to not show them. I think that would be,
I think if we had an option not to show them, we wouldn't. If we have to show them, hopefully it's a competitive bid situation, and then the vendors keep each other
mhm,
honest by
Yeah,
hoping to
yep.
win the bid.
right.
Any other questions or comments?
Thanks.
Hearing none, any from the public? Hearing none and seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the preliminary assessment of the old bandstand?
I so move that we okay the assessment for the old bandstand preservation project.
Second?
All right, Mr. Lang. No, I'm sorry. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next item on the agenda, the Park Board Maintenance and Sewer Septic System, we're going to move that to director's reports later in the agenda. So the next item is the Sunset Grill Rental Reservation Procedures and Agreement. You're not familiar with it? Okay. So we were approached by Sunset Grill to try to help resolve some issues there with having large groups of 10 to 20 people that want to reserve a reservation on the upper half of Sunset Grill, and how we could manage that with the parking. Another issue was the responsibilities of who should do what with the rentals on the lower level and the rentals on the upper level. And then there was also some logistical problems with people calling to rent, and then they'd be sent to the park department and then sent back to Sunset Grill and then sent back to the park department because one person was controlling the building, the other person the contract. So this is an attempt to iron all those items out. And please stop me. And if I'm not making any sense, I wasn't necessarily prepared to present this, but I understand the situation. So I'll just go through it real quickly. And if you have questions, I think it's on the page 1 of 2 on the North Point Pavilion rental and reservation SOPs. This was important because it details who's responsible for what, and that will help dictate and make the process smooth for Sunset Grill, the park department, and anyone requesting to rent it. So it designates some potential parking areas. If you rent the lower level of the pavilion, you can have 100 and some people. It can hold quite a bit, if not more than 100. It details who's going to be responsible for custodial services. So the park department will clean the restrooms prior to the event, and the park will clean the restrooms every 2 hours during the event and empty trash containers. And then Sunset Grill staff will be responsible for trash removal and general cleaning on the patios during the event. So it may seem simple, it's clean and concise, but it took us to this point to get clean and concise because there were some blurred lines of who was responsible for what. And then it goes through the reservation process and who's responsible for what during that process. And you can read it here. The upper reservation patio only. They'll call Sunset Grill to book reservations up to 20 people and up to 40 people. They're different fee structure. The park department will get a $50 fee if it's 20 people. We'll get a $100 fee if it's 40 people. And in return for that, we will not charge parking for that reservation group. The Sunset Grill will give the information to the park department of who's included in that reservation. We'll keep that at the booth when they come in. And those people will be allowed to enter the park with no parking fee. We will not have a designated parking spot for them. It just allows them through the gate. Justification for allowing that is they're going to go to Sunset Grill and they spend an average per person of $35 per person. So the restaurant's going to make their revenue. We get 10% of whatever the restaurant's revenue is. So the 10% of the restaurant revenue plus the $100 or $50 that Sunset Grill's paying us for the right to have the reservation and allow the people to go through. That basically makes up for the parking revenue that we lose. So it's a kind of, we took an approach, how can we both win in this situation? We want Sunset Grill to do well because it brings people into Michigan City. It's a wonderful, wonderful amenity to have. We don't want to lose parking revenue because we need it. And so this just seemed to be a win-win. They got together. I give everyone a lot of credit, Ed and Shannon and the folks from Sunset Grill to work out a resolution. We've tried to work out resolutions like this before. Brian may remember we've had different entities, whether it's the old yacht club or down here. We just never could really get to a point where we had a viable solution, and we believe we have one now. So I give everyone a lot of credit for working together to come up with this. I think that's about it. It's designation of responsibilities and kind of standard operating procedures. I don't believe there's anything else different with the initial contract. Okay.
Phil, on the reservations, parking staff will let guests into the park understand that. How will there be a list? Will they get a pass, or how will our parking attendants know?
Sure. It's similar to what we do with the zoo now. So if a group has a reservation at the zoo, they give the name and the group to the attendants at the parking booth. It's going to be the same thing for the Sunset Grill. They'll give the name, reservation name, and the number, and they'll let them through.
I have something.
Sure.
Number 4 on the first page was the minimum age, that 18 years of age. So you can be 18 and host a party there. I just thought it was kind of young, but I don't know, maybe that's what you do with all the, Parks and Rec. I usually get like car rentals and hotel rentals and Airbnbs and all that. And it's usually at least 21, if not 25. So that was just something I thought I would mention. And then with the police, I think that was over a certain amount of people. And I thought, well, if 50, 18-year-olds are there with no
Right.
police, it just, I don't know.
That's
I
a
just
great
thought I'd
call
throw it
out.
out there.
Absolutely great call out. With that, what I would recommend, we could take that and investigate it for the next meeting. I think it's important to get the North Point Pavilion renter reservation SOPs done so they can start booking parties.
Yeah.
But it's certainly something
Mhm. Okay.
we should look at.
Yeah. I think the rest of it sounds great. A great plan. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I understand about the 18-year-old, but then I do not intend to serve alcohol at this event. What if 18-year-old reserves it, but has some 21-year-olds as guests, which would require then to a police officer for sure, even though the reservee is not going to drink alcohol. Well, we assume they're not going to consume alcohol. Is that confusing, or am I making something out of nothing?
When I think of serving alcohol, I would think that they would have, Sunset Grill would be the one serving
check their
alcohol.
IDs.
Well, to serve it. So if they're saying they're not going to serve alcohol, then they go to Sunset Grill and ask them.
Well, it says here, that if alcohol is going to be served, the permittee, for lack of a better term, is going to have to be 21. So
Oh, okay.
that should clarify that. And also, we're certainly going to want police there if that's the case.
Thank you.
May I interject during board comments?
Certainly.
I was notified yesterday by email. It's on. Yeah, I was notified yesterday by email from Patrick Grill, Sunset Grill's representatives, that Patrick would like to interject a provision in there that he would like to be able to hire more security than is there at his request or at his, if he wants to.
And he would assume the financial responsibility for that.
It sounded like it. I didn't get it in language yet.
Yeah.
But I would have Ms. Nuremberg prove it.
I would assume they would.
Would you still like the language added?
I would. Yeah, I think it's critical for that.
So I didn't hear that.
Sorry.
Nothing prohibits him from doing it in the current contract, but what was said after that?
He asked me if I wanted the language that he's going to get from Patrick, and then he can give it to me. Yeah, there's nothing in there currently that prevents him from doing anything on his own with regard to that. And I think it addresses Anne's question and to some degree. So, but this just lays out the minimum parameters in these events for all of us together.
Thank you.
The three parties.
So Ed, are you asking us to table this while you get the additional language, or is that, I'm unsure of your request.
We could table it and I could have it to the board as soon as possible. I'm also adding the list or job description of security. I'm going to check with the police first. And that's agreeable with them, and then check with the park board.
So that's not part of this agreement now, though?
No.
All right, that's why I'm just trying to determine if we need to table it, because I would believe we'd like to get this
Right.
moving, because
Can
it's
it be
getting more,
approved subject to the addition?
well, contingent, or if it's not even part of the agreement now, we could just have a whole separate. I'm trying to understand what we have presented in front of us versus what you're asking. You're asking for something that currently isn't part of this agreement. If you want to add it to the agreement, then we should table it and add it to the agreement. But I don't know if we want to do that. Because as Ms. Nuremberg pointed out, he's able to add security at his own expense if he wants to. So it's really, it has nothing to do with this agreement.
That's fine.
But I want to make sure that's the conversation you had with him. I need, if he's asking, I don't want to make more of this, but I guess I'm confusing myself at this point.
I'm not sure I understand the question. The question then would be, would Patrick's be allowed then just as, if they satisfy the agreement here by, if they're serving alcohol, for having an officer there, but he would like two more or one more. He could do that on his own, can't he, Laura? So do we really need language for that?
I don't think so.
No, if he wants to do bring in additional service providers, he can certainly do that. We have these parameters in place to protect the park and to protect them and
Yeah.
protect invitees to
So
some
you could just
degree.
tell him that he can have as many as he feels comfortable with, but he has to have at least one.
Thank you.
Well, the question that comes to my mind is, why did he feel compelled to share that with Ed? Maybe I'm just concerned there may be part of the picture I'm not fully seeing.
It would probably be similar to what we just mentioned. If there were 18-year-olds there mixed with 21-year-olds and he felt like he needed more security, he would probably
Perhaps.
want that.
Well, I think we could probably go ahead and vote on that. I'd like to see him, because like you said, they want to get started on their reservations.
When are they planning on opening? Memorial Day?
Yeah.
So that's inside 60 days, and all this is about 60 days, a minimum of 60 days to make reservations and deposits. So
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the Sunset Grill rental reservation procedures and agreement?
I would move that we accept this 2022 North Point Pavilion reservation and usage agreement with Sunset Grill, Patrick's.
I'll second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Next item is the revision to the Trail Creek and Park Department MOU. This was passed by us, and it's then sent back to us to ask to make a change in regard to parking around the ball fields in Trail Creek. However, we're at a little bit of version control issues with this MOU. So we're going to ask that it be tabled tonight, just so we make sure that we can clean up those version control issues and bring back only the items that have changed since the last time it was before us.
So are we talking about 2D?
We're talking about 2D is the crux of the request,
Okay.
but we're going to have to table this to make sure that we have our version control issues straightened out. Any questions or comments? If not, have a motion to table.
I would move that we, excuse me, table MOU with Trail Creek until our next meeting. Or is that
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Motion carries.
20.
Any other new business to attend to tonight? Thank you. Report of officer, superintendent's report.
Thank you. This evening, I will be reporting on the golf courses, youth baseball, park maintenance, zoo, and the YMCA. The golf courses report, I would like to let you know that the golf course has been open only 6 days since it started on March 17th. There were 3 days with golf carts and 3 days of walking only. Obviously, it's been a weather problem out at the golf course. Green Leaves Tree Project is going well. As scheduled, they will be completed by the target date of May 15th. They've been working the north course when people are golfing on the south course and vice versa. And that's going very well at the golf course. Youth baseball. We are getting close to the evaluation day that is this Sunday for 10U and 13U divisions at Gardena Large Field. Mr. Volz will have the field all prepared for the evaluation day. We're looking for good weather. A sign-up report in comparison with last year. In 2021, total registrations was 251. This year to date, we have 288 registered. We're still taking reservations until this Friday for 10U and 13U. 16U will take reservations until April 22nd. So we have 37 more players. I think 2 signed up today, almost 40 more players than last year. 2021 sponsors, there were 14 total sponsorships last year, 8 separate sponsors for $4,900 of funding. This year we have 21 total sponsorships from 19 separate sponsors for a total of $7,350. So we passed last year's funding, which is good, and we also reached our proposed amount for this year. 16U evaluations will be after the high school season is over. I did receive 5 player play-ups, and you asked for me to actually go out and visit with the kids that want to play up, and I will do so at the evaluations. And I did also have a form for play down, but there hasn't been none. Park maintenance, the push in park maintenance has been sand removal. Let's see if I can get a little picture on the photograph here. That's the sand on the curb by the rock garden. And as you can see, the machine that picks up the sand. And there's another picture of quantities of sand that gets stockpiled because there is so much. Some days they remove sand and the following day, just as much sand blows in off the beach. There's the swing gate at Parker Parkway, I think that is. And you can see how much sand accumulates. So you can see that the maintenance department is very busy in trying to catch up with this sand, more stockpile. Actually, last Sunday before last, the sand was so bad, Park Department received a phone call and had to barricade the north portion of the parking lot because cars were being stuck. Wow. And also, Patriot Park is very wet from the rain, but they've been busy out there dragging the fields and prepping the fields for a possible tournament this weekend with NSA and or BPA. Fields are set with different length of home run fencing for different age groups, and they're preparing the soccer fields that sometimes get damaged from practices. So the maintenance department is doing very well also. The zoo, our Michigan City Zoo opened for the 2022 season last Friday, April 1st. And some of the reports here I get from the gate amounts is pretty amazing. On the first day, there were 149 people on a sunny, cold day. The second day it was open, there were 180 people passing the gates. The third day, 256 people. The fourth day, 254 people came into the zoo. The fifth day, there were 197. And today there were 230 people visiting the zoo. So the zoo is doing very well. And I can see why, because that staff works so hard and makes that zoo look very inviting. The zoo is taking precautions along with the U.S. zoos to protect the birds in the collection from the highly contagious and potential deadly avian influenza, which means that some of the bird exhibit areas may not be open until late spring when the migration season is over. The zoo has welcomed some babies since the new year, including 3 wallabies, 2 common marmosets, and 2 red-handed tamarins. There's some more sand. I would like you to see the zoo in its before state. This is from Lakeshore Drive. And we'll see how it looks after this lion exhibit and the tiger exhibit is completed. There is the west edge of the zoo. There is a view from the south looking north. And that is also from the south looking north. And I'm showing you this so we can look at some pictures as the exhibit construction takes place. There is a view looking west from the east end. And there are the new babies that Jamie would like everybody to see. That must be a marmoset. And that must be a red-handed. She says red-handed, looks kind of gold to me, but it's funny that they have red hands. So, and there is a marsupial, and there are 2 of them that peek out. And apparently the people that visit the zoo, that's quite an attraction for this little baby to peek out. So next, all of the damage that was done from the tree that fell during one of the winter storms on the fallow deer fence has been repaired, and the fallen tree has been removed. That was maintenance department that helped removing that tree. The expected start date for the Big Cat exhibit expansion project will be July 5th, the day after the 4th of July. The Big Cat and the general public are very excited about this upcoming lion and tiger exhibit. A construction kickoff meeting has been held with Holiday Construction, Shannon Eason, Haas Engineering, and myself to discuss items to prepare ourselves for opening day of the construction project on July 5th. That will start with barricading the lion exhibit existing and demolition. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Any questions for the superintendent? Ed, I had a couple.
Mhm.
Where does the sand go when they remove it?
The sand goes to the low spots and Hitchcock, and also has been going to the water department in areas, these areas that they repair streets. So there's been a lot of sand being taken away for the water department and going to Hitchcock, which is at some type of low area that the city owns.
The help of being able to get through there during the wet weather. It's landfill, so it's not
So it's used for road pack at Hitchcock. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Also, great news on the baseball signups. That's really good to see.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, we have a good team,
Excellent,
administrative office.
fantastic. Any vandalism report?
No vandals.
Very good. All right, so the planning commission liaison report, that's me, and there has not been a meeting since our last meeting. Port Authority liaison?
They had a meeting last night, but there's nothing to report.
Thank you. Zoological Society, Mr. Lang.
The Zoological Society has not met yet this month. They will meet this coming Tuesday, the 12th.
Thank
We'll
you.
have a report after that.
Great, thanks. And attorney's report, Ms. Nierenberg.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. That brings us to director's reports. Good evening and welcome.
Patrick Volz, Maintenance Director. Give you guys a heads up of where our little sewer project is taking us. We had a complete building blockage late last year. What we thought was going to be hopefully a simple fix of running a new line. We thought we had a septic tank issue between us and sanitation, which has been pretty helpful. We couldn't locate our septic tanks. We finally did. We found 3 of them, none of them currently being used. So now we're trying to route lines. We found one. We thought we had that solved. That ended up only being half the building. So right now, since December, anybody working in the building needs to do any reading, we have to send them to another site for the time being. But between us and sanitation, we're trying to locate that second half of the building. We believe somewhere on site is another septic tank. The goal is, once we locate lines and know how everything is routed, is to get hooked up to the city sanitation. So unfortunately, my bigger fear is, as we go deeper and deeper into this, is having to have companies come in for locations. So I want to give you guys heads up as this project goes along. So if anybody has any questions at this point?
Thank you.
Yeah, Pat, once they locate them, can your men do the work to hook them up?
We will do some of it. We can't do the actual hookup. We can do some of the digging.
Okay.
So, and again, if you go by the site right now, looks like we lost our money box. We buried it in the yard. We have exploratory holes everywhere. So, yeah, we'll do as much of this as we can in-house. And again, unfortunately, the other problem we're running into is we hope to have this done in January, and now we're in busy season too.
Yeah.
So it's double whammy for us right now.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? So the first step is to find the remaining septic tanks and hook up if you can.
The biggest thing we need to do right now is understand how that other half of the building is coming out of the building. Even if we don't locate that secondary tank, at least we know where the lines are, where we can tap into and redirect.
Gotcha.
So.
And how do you go about finding these lines?
Well, it'd be easy if we could scope our pipes, a combination of how it was put in, walls that were built after the fact. One of our fears is one of the places that everybody wants to go to scope. There is a cinder block wall built around the pipe. The pipe is literally in the wall. So, we're trying to avoid taking walls out and everything else, but we might have to end up going that route.
And the sanitation does the scoping? Or who does that?
Well, they'll have a contractor come in. Between one of us, we'll get a contractor in to scope it. Their scope's more for the bigger mains. This would be for smaller pipe.
So that would be option number 1. Option number 2 is to hook up to the city.
Well, that's going to be the end goal, one way or the other, is to hook up to the city. Option 2 is to move the building. The end goal, regardless of anything, is we're gonna get hooked up to the sewer. So,
You'll provide updates, I would imagine, along
oh,
the way.
yes.
Thank you.
So,
Thanks for tonight coming in and helping
no
give
problem.
us an update on what's happening there. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Any other
Yeah,
questions?
just a quick question. I'm looking at this. Why was this never hooked up in the first place, that building out there? Well, I'm trying to figure that logic.
I was in a different position back in the
Right.
time, so I've got limited knowledge, but my understanding was when the fire station went in,
Right?
we were to be hooked up then. Sanitation seemed to believe that the roughing was there and it just never happened. Don't really know why. So both our departments thought that was going to be done and it just never got done.
Yeah, that's odd. They didn't do that.
It's a big oversight, huh?
Huge.
Is it possible to tap into the fire department or is it just too great?
Well, we don't want one of either ways to have a backup from the other one. So,
Okay, yeah.
so it wouldn't probably save anything more than another 150 feet of running the line out directly anyway. So,
Okay. Thank you.
If the end goal is to hook up to the city, what's preventing us from just getting right to that?
we
As
don't
opposed
know where we have the garage flooring all figured out. The side with the toilets and hand sinks, that's the one we don't know. We don't even know where that's routed out of the building. It could come out the north side, the south side. We don't know yet. So
Pat, when you scope those pipes, can you scope from the bathrooms and find out where it goes?
the problem there is the way the plumbing was done. If you try to scope from one toilet, it's literally just a T. So the scope can't make the bend. It just wants to go straight across to the other toilet.
And you tried dye?
Yes.
No luck with dye?
No luck with dye because we don't know where it comes out from. We would need to see an end of a pipe somewhere to see the dye. So the only thing we've accomplished with the dye is knowing where it's not coming out right now. That's how we separated the building in the first place. So,
And this has affected the labor staff as far as moving on to other jobs. How long has this been going on?
well,
would you say?
it affects them if I had, send them off site to use a facility or something, but we're being troopers about it. So.
Mhm.
As much as it's not appealing, would it make sense to bring some porta pots in?
Well, this time of year, we're off-site more than we're on-site. That was part of it too. We thought it would be a quick fix. By the time we got to the point that we started thinking porta pots, we also were to the point where we were off-site more often. So, and we have Memorial right around the corner. So I don't know if it's necessarily worth the cost at this point.
Depends on what kind of an emergency one might be in.
So,
Any other questions or comments?
Just a quick comment as a councilman. I hope we can get this fixed. This is so third world. You have to run around the corner to Memorial.
Yeah.
This is the kind of stuff that keeps me like this. And so hopefully we can get some kind of solution to this in a timely fashion because this is so third world. I'm sorry you guys are having to go through that.
thank
It sounds almost as if I put this system in. This is how it would turn out. But I'm sorry, man.
And sanitation's been a big help too. So we're working as a team there. So.
Well, thanks. Keep us updated.
Thank you for your hard work, Pat.
All right, that moves us to Department of Finances, Mr. Lang.
All right, Michigan City Park Department claims docket for April the 6th, 2022. Municipal, $259,462.75. Golf petty cash, none at this time. Zoo endowment, $300,000, brings total claims to $559,462.75. $462.75. And I so move that we accept the claims docket for April the 6th, 2022.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Payroll number 6, we do not have that information at this time, so we'll simply have to include that in our next meeting. Under reports of gifts and donations, Ed Sin and Dorothea Liddell, donation to youth baseball equipment, $500. Thank you, Mr. Finn. Wow. Harbor County Adventures, donation youth baseball team sponsorship, $350. Sunset Grill, donation youth baseball team sponsorship, $350. Dairy Queen, donation youth baseball team sponsorship, 2 teams, $700. Neiman's Flooring and Tile Company, donation youth baseball team sponsorship, $350. Solaire, donation youth baseball team sponsorship, $350. General Insurance, donation youth baseball team sponsorship, $350. Captain Ed's, donation youth baseball team sponsorship, $350. Little Caesars Pizza, donation youth baseball T-ball team sponsorship, $350. Janine Bennett, zoo donation memory of Tim Bennett, $200. James Milzarek, zoo donation in memory of Tim Bennett, $25. Michael Maish, zoo donation share the care, $65. Michiana Bird Society, zoo donation miscellaneous, $470.75. I so move that we accept these gifts and donations.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under minor transfers, there are none at this time. Under zoo endowment, invoices totaling $300,000 were paid to the City of Michigan City. Endowment contribution to the Big Cat House, $300,000. I so move that we recognize this zoo endowment for $300,000.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under Board of Works, invoices totaling $9,525 were paid at the April 4th Board of Works meeting to Green Leaves Tree Service, tree removal from the golf course, $9,525. I so move that we recognize this invoice from the Board of Works totaling $9,525.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under credit card charges totaling $1,614.79 were paid to corporate payment systems for Amazon.com, recreation, non-reverting baseball tees, $79.14. Hempco.com, zoo gift shop storage cabinet, $313.98. Webstaurant, zoo concession suppliers / thermometer, $227.43. AEDmarket.com, administration infant / child AED pads, $492. Amazon.com, zoo concessions, hats for staff, $57.83. Cardiopartners.com, administration life pack, charge pack, $252.52. Dunham Sports, a recreation baseballs, $131.93. Amazon.com, zoo gift shop, reusable bags, $57.83. I so move that we accept the credit card charges totaling $1,614.79.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That ends the financial report for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Lang.
You are welcome.
Any comments from the public tonight? See none. Any comments from the board?
I have a couple comments. First of all, I'd like to thank all the patrons who support the baseball, softball, t-ball, the zoo, anything else that they contribute for. It's greatly appreciated by this board. Secondly, the Phi Delta Kappa fraternity, which I remember we did some spring cleaning last week, and we found 9, not quite a full case because 3 of them were used, but 9 softballs that brought in for the Softball League. And then also yesterday, the golf course was closed, and there were 7 individuals that spent 5 hours out there trimming the pine trees so that actually it could save a couple of these guys some strokes. They could get the ball underneath there. But I'd like to thank Dennis Burke and Bill Hackett, Chuck Kraus, Dennis Eldridge, Tony Pacina, Joe Tansky, and Fred Klinder for their work on the golf course. They would have done more, but the course was too wet to get a truck out to haul the stuff away. So anyhow, it looks really nice. I've seen some pictures of it. So that's it.
Thank you, Phil. Thanks for those comments. Any other board comments tonight? All right, seeing none, our next meeting is Wednesday, April 20th, right here at 5 p.m. Motion to adjourn?
So move.